Hi everybody, it's Chef Shauna Grindstaff again, back in B1, my classroom, doing a new recipe for you today. So I got my little spider earrings on, gonna be spooktacular. This cooking today is going to be so spooktacular. In fact, you're gonna be like, what? No way, are you kidding me? I'm not. We are going to make 2 ingredient pretzels. And the thing I love about this recipe the most is that it's so versatile, which means you can do lots of different things with it. So I'm gonna make pretzels today, but I've also made naan, and I made naan pizza a couple weeks ago and gave you the recipe for that. You can actually use the same exact dough to make the naan, which is kind of crazy, but also very cool. So like I said, very versatile. So I'm making just salted pretzels today, but you can make sweet pretzels by changing the topping. Instead of putting salt on at the end, you can put cinnamon and sugar. So just something to think about. All right, pretty super duper easy. Now that I realize when I show you in the camera, it's not backwards. So what you're gonna need today, just some self-rising flour and some good old-fashioned Greek yogurt. You're gonna turn your oven to 400 degrees. This is gonna take about 20 minutes. Probably 25 from start to finish, to be perfectly honest with you. And you're gonna be absolutely amazed by how great these pretzels are. So I am going to move my camera. Sorry, lone camera person today. So I'm gonna move this down so you can actually see what I'm doing. So sorry. Here we go. All right, one bowl. Let's make it ease of preparation here. So I've got my self-rising flour. Self-rising flour is kind of hard to find right now, given that we're in the middle of a pandemic still. So you can make your own self-rising flour, but why do that when you can actually find it? So I have mine, so I'm gonna add in 1 3/4 cup of self-rising flour. So there was 1 1/2. And then I'm gonna use another 1/4 cup to make my 3/4. There we go. So once you've got your flour in, then you're gonna go back and you're gonna add your Greek yogurt. Now, this doesn't have to be full fat yogurt. I'm actually using the 0% fat. And I have found that there's really no difference. So mine is the Fage. I think I'm saying that correctly. I don't know. They just have a little liner that comes with that. Just make sure that you take that off, because otherwise it could be in for an interesting surprise. So a cup of Greek yogurt. You'll notice this is not like an exact science for me. So sometimes in baking you do have to be super duper exact. With this particular recipe, I find that sometimes I need a little more yogurt, a little more flour, but roughly about 1 3/4 cups of flour and a cup of yogurt. And I kid you not, like, this is all there is to it. So you're just gonna stir this together. My hands are clean. Why, of course, why wouldn't they be? But they are. So I do like to just get my hands in there. So you're just mixing that around and it's gonna form kind of your ball of dough, if you will. Now, this could be super fun for Halloween. I'm just thinking out loud here. If you wanted to add some dye, like some food coloring, like you could make orange pretzels, right? Or purple pretzels, something for, your Halloween party or whatever. Since you're making this dough, you wouldn't even have to make pretzels. Like, you could make little bones, or I don't know, like little skeletons or something. So I'm just gonna work this dough with my hands. So I'm just kind of squishing it together until I get that consistency that I want. Basically until it's just combined. So here's where, like, if you end up with a lot of flour at the bottom of your bowl, just adding a little more yogurt, and when I say a little bit, I'm talking like, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon at a time, could be easier to work with. Like, I'm just gonna pop a little bit more in there just because I think it's gonna be easier. So meanwhile, I've got my oven, and I do have an oven here at school. It's a little Dutch oven. You can buy those like Target Walmart. Not that anybody even wants to go out and purchase anything right now. Amazon. Very convenient, especially if you're cooking in the classroom. So again, I told you last week, like, no excuses about cooking, because if I can cook in the classroom, you can cook in your house. So, all right. So there you go. We've got our dough, nice little dough ball here. And you might want to put a little flour down just so you don't have sticky situation. All right, so we're just gonna knead it for just a minute. It's not like regular bread dough, so if you have not gotten on that bread bandwagon like we all did in the middle of this pandemic, yeah, that COVID-19 means 19 pounds that we've all gained. So, all right, so now we have our dough. And you can make, oh gosh, probably about 8 pretzels. So I like to split it in half, and then in half again, and then in half again. So this is where it's great to do this with your kids, because it feels like Play-Doh. So you're just going to roll it out. Make your snake, as we used to say in kindergarten. So you're just gonna roll it out, and you can make it as thick, as thin. So your goal is to make 8 little snakes here. And if they rip, like, it's not a big deal. It's just like Play-Doh. You just put it back together again and keep going. So, right, story of our lives right now. We just keep going. All right, and then you can give it the little pretzel arms there. They don't have to be beautiful. Okay, little pretzel shape. And you do the rest of them. Now today, you could put these on a cookie sheet if you're gonna put them into the oven, but I don't have a cookie sheet. So what am I placing mine on? Foil, because the name of the game is you MacGyver your kitchen. I'm just dating myself now. So basically what I'm saying is you just use what you have. You don't need to go out and buy fancy dance. This is not an infomercial. I'm not trying to sell you anything, except maybe the idea of cooking. So you don't need anything super fancy. So you're just gonna roll your dough out, and I'm gonna put mine on tin foil because that's what I have. I am gonna put a little cooking spray down because I do find that these will like to stick a little if I don't. So let me pause my pretzel making here and get out my tin foil so I can show you what I'm talking about. Oops. All right, got your piece of tin foil. So that's gonna fit into my oven, my makeshift, it's like my college dorm. Put a little cooking spray down. Take your pretzels, just pop them on there. They are gonna puff up a little tiny bit, but not too much. Now, you can brush the tops with butter. You can brush the tops with milk. You can brush the tops with water. You don't have to brush tops at all, but if you want kind of like a Wetzel pretzel looking, or Auntie, whatever her name was, in the mall, I'm just gonna brush these with water, and I'm just using a pastry brush. You don't want them soaking wet, just wet enough that when you put the salt on, it's gonna stick. Because it's just not quite but enough without something on it. Okay, so here's where you can change it up a little bit. If you were to add cinnamon sugar, I would recommend brushing butter because that's gonna taste better. And then if you wanted to make cheesy pretzels, you could add cheese to your dough and then bake that. That's gonna be pretty delicious. So I'm gonna pause this video real quick because you don't wanna see me have to make all of these and then put it in the oven and wait around for 20 minutes, although I'm sure I could put on a good show. So you're gonna kind of see the rough form, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you the finished product when we're all done. So once you're done making your pretzels, in your oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. You have to get to know your oven. Some ovens are a little hotter. What you're looking for is a golden brown pretzel that is in fact cooked all the way through. We don't want any soggy pretzels. We don't want any undone pretzels, and you don't want something that you could, use for a hockey puck either. So you get your pretzels done, get them rolled out, get your shape that you want. You don't have to do the pretzel shape. You can do anything you want. I might make some bones just because it's close to Halloween. So then we'll be back and we'll talk about the finished product. But really, how easy was that? It was spooky how easy that was. All right, see y'all in a little bit.